Good morning. Welcome, everybody. It's just gone 10:50, so I'll just start with my introduction as more people come in. I think some people will come in as we go through the session. The benefits of having a digital conference, isn't it? That you can pop in and out of different sessions. So welcome, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the keynote. Today's session with me, I'm Nairi Dean. I'm the head of operations at Grow Farm, work with schools and colleges around the country, implementing and help supporting them to run their digital careers service. So I'm going to kind of take the learnings that I've had over the last 3 years working with schools and colleges across the country and share with you some of those key themes and challenges with running a digital careers service and what we've learned, hopefully to help you, help your customers and clients and other schools so that everyone can be as successful and effective as possible. So I think I'm going to kick off today with just discussing kind of how much is out there at the moment when we start talking about digital career services. I know from my own experience that often your inbox can be flooded with different opportunities, platforms, ideas about how to run a digital career service, and it can be really hard to figure out just where to start. And with limited time, that makes it even more of a challenge. So kind of the first half of today is actually going to focus on the initial challenge of running a digital careers service, and that's where to start. And the second part of today is then going to say, well, once you've chosen a digital careers service, how can you effectively embed that? So that's going to be looking at some top tips that you can implement to make sure that when you have made that choice on the first question, which service are you going to use, how you can embed it across the school to make sure that you're not the only person using it and that you can get the most out of your digital careers service. So for everyone joining, in case you've just popped in, we've just gone over the two topics today that I'll be leading, which is choices, how to pick the right platform. And I've got some top tips on that. And then we've got a secondary of top tips, which is once you've chosen that right platform, how you can effectively embed that within your school. Now, because nobody has their microphones on, we do have the live chat. So if you have any questions, please do use the live chat throughout today. I'll pause to be able to answer any questions. And also this presentation and everything I go through, I'm really happy to share with you and share you all my notes. So at the end, I'll share my email address, which is hello@growfire.com. But so you can pop me an email or again, send me a direct message on the Hopin platform. And I can also share with you what I'm talking about today so that all you have to do is listen and you don't have to take any notes. So great, welcome and thank you for joining us. So I'm going to have a poll to start off with, so if you click on the Hopin platform on the poll, it'd be great if you could answer these two questions for me. So the poll is first, what is your number one reason to use a digital careers service? And so we've got a few different reasons there, but if you could just pick your top one, that would be great. And the other poll is also, are you currently using a digital careers service? Now I realize not everybody on the seminar today will be at a school. So, but if you are, please answer that one. So are you using it? Do you love it? Are you struggling with it? No, but you want one, or no, you use your own system. So it'd be great if you could answer those questions. The first question, is this focus aimed at schools? It is. We're talking today. It also works for colleges as well, but our focus today is on, with all those choices for running a digital careers platform, how do you pick the right one for your school? And then once you've chosen the right one at your school or college, what are some top tips to embedding that? So hopefully that answered your question. And if everyone wants to take part in the poll, that would be great. We'll close the poll off just in a couple minutes so that we can see what everyone's responses are. And we've got a bit of help from the CDI moderating the session as well, so they'll be running the polls for us. So if once I currently, I suppose I have to answer the poll as well to get it, see the results. Perfect. So once you answer the poll, you can see the results. And I know you might still be answering it, but what I can see is that actually for the first question, what's your number one reason to use a digital careers service? It looks like we've got student engagement and resources are winning there, along with kind of booking one-to-one meetings and school engagement. Thank you. And then in terms of using it, oh, great. We've got some people that have successfully implemented a career service. That's wonderful. And then we've got a few that are looking to or using their own system. It's great. So we'll touch on that as we go through today. I just wanted to get kind of a feel for the room and see where everybody is at. So we're going to move on to the first part of today's session, and then we'll kind of look back, as I mentioned, at the poll results a little later on. And the first part is the choices, choices, choices. 5 things to consider when choosing a digital careers platform. Now, this is often a step that sometimes is rushed a little bit because we are all very limited on time. But it is a really important step because finding the right platform for your school with your own unique requirements is really important. And it's actually going to save you time in the long run, because picking the wrong platform can be very frustrating and actually eat up a lot of the time that you don't have. So to avoid this, I've pulled together some questions that I think are really helpful in what we've learned from our time at GrowFar that can be asked before you purchase a platform, so that you can kind of take that due diligence to be able to go into embedding a platform that you know is right for your school. So we're going to go into these top 5 things to consider. And the first one that we're going to look at is your objectives. Now, this is probably the biggest one because your objectives are, what are you going to do with the platform? And as we've just learned from our poll, we're kind of spaced out on some of those objectives. So I think we had the most results on the poll for increasing student engagement, but it looks like everyone was also looking to provide resources to engage teachers in SLT, to have a source for booking one-to-one meetings. So the key objective is really important, and understanding your particular key objective is going to help you find the right platform for you. For example, if you want to have full school engagement with careers, your teachers, your SLT, you might need to be asking the provider, does the platform have a tutor dashboard? Does it make it easy for those tutors to get onto the platform and find their students? Or if you're talking about engaging SLT, how quickly can SLT get on the platform? How quickly can they access reports? If full school engagement is one of your top priorities, then you have a number of questions you'll want to be asking the provider to make sure that it's easy, not just for you to get on the platform, but you and your students and your SLT. If increasing student engagement is your number one objective, which I can see 40% of people said it is, then you might be asking, what features does the platform have that engage your students? Does it help them build their careers journey on a digital passport? And we're going to come on to this one a little bit later with another question, because it's quite a big one, student engagement. If you're looking for the platform as your main objective to build a careers program, then you'll want to know, does the platform track activity from my students? Can the students submit assignments through the careers program? How can I collect feedback on activity on the careers program? Hopefully you can see for each of these objectives, there's quite a few questions that you'll want to ask of the provider. So making sure you have a really clear idea of your number 1, 2, and 3 objectives is going to help drive your understanding of the different platforms you look at, and actually help you weight into which one is going to be better for your school. If reporting is your number 1 objective, then probably the first thing you're going to be looking at is the reports that platform offers. So that's number 1, the objectives. The second item we're going to look at is there a student-facing platform? So as I mentioned, student engagement, it looks like, is the number 1 area that you're looking to as an objective when buying a platform. So it's not just about having a student-facing portal, but it's understanding the digital literacy of your students. Because if you're expecting, say, all year groups to use it or send groups to be using the platform, then there are some particular questions that you'll want to know of how the platform is going to cater to those different year groups and different digital literacies, so that all the students can engage equally and no students left behind. It's going to be an uphill struggle if you have a platform that isn't necessarily tailored to the right age group. And a great idea for understanding the student side is actually to bring some students along with you when you do demonstrations of these platforms. There's no problem with having a student join on, especially with Teams now, a demonstration of the student portal and get them to understand what it looks like. Get them to, if there's a demo site, use the platform and get their feedback. This would even count as a work experience because they're helping you procure that platform. So do highly recommend getting students involved and really thinking about the students who are going to be using the platform and how it suits their digital literacy. Now, the third thing on here is, again, student focused, and it is how are the students going to access this portal? I've learned from our schools and working with them across the country that some have quite a significant number of students for every computer. So say 10 students for every computer, which can make it quite hard to get students onto a platform in the first place. So you might want to ask is which devices is the platform work on? Does it work on tablet? Does it work on mobile? Does it work on desktop? Because if it only works on one device, then you're really going to limit how the students can access this. So we do recommend that you find a platform that hopefully works on all the devices and that the students can access it wherever they are. You might have a no phones rule at school, but that doesn't mean obviously that when they get home, they can't access their careers portal and do their careers homework from home on their phone. So thinking about how the students access the portal and what devices it's going to work on is going to be really important. And the fourth thing then is that does your digital careers service sync with your MIS provider? So this is really important and often, again, an overlooked one, because if it doesn't sync with your MIS provider, then you're going to end up having two sources of truth instead of one single source of truth in terms of student data. When you sync with your MIS provider, you're going to save time by making sure that when you're on your digital careers platform, you have the same student information as your MIS system. And the extra benefit here is that by syncing with the MIS system, not only is it up to date every day, but also you get all that extra information in terms of form groups, teaching groups, if any funding groups automatically onto your digital careers platform. So when it comes to reporting and finding students, that no one's left behind. Everyone can access and everyone can get that careers information they need. So does the digital careers service sync with your MIS provider? And then the last question I'm recommending to ask and that we've learned is, will the platform provide the reports that you require? Now, reporting might not be top on your agenda, but often SLT, who controls the budget, is most focused on reporting. So having a look at the reports that the system provides can be really important because you ideally want to impress your SLT with what you're getting out. And so what we'd recommend is, first and foremost, with Gatsby benchmarks being kind of the number one report to look at, it would be to say, well, what does the platform's Gatsby benchmark report look like? What details am I going to be getting out of here? You're also probably have quite a few other questions you might want to ask, like, does the platform automatically collect feedback from students after activities? I want to continuously improve your careers provision. And so what is the platform going to do to help make that easier for you? Can you on the platform easily monitor the employers you're working with and see the unique business engagements that the students are having? Can you build up a network of employers through the platform to show how you're working with the local community and really easily access that information about who you've been working with? Can you filter all these reports by the different student groups? So we just talked about whether or not the platform syncs with your MIS system. Well, can we then use that information and filter our reports to say, well, of our special needs students, have they all gotten a one-to-one meeting by this date? It's making sure that no one's left behind and everyone's getting the provision they need. So off the back of this, of course, the question, especially that we're asked a lot, is does the platform sync with Compass Plus? Ideally, you're not duplicating data entry, so the answer to that question would also be yes. So a quick summary. So the 5 questions we've looked at are making sure that you know which are your key objectives when buying a platform. Is the platform have a student-facing portal, and what is the digital literacy of your students? What devices is the platform suitable on? Tablet, mobile, desktop? Does the platform sync with your MIS system? And what reports does the platform provide? Taking these 5 questions, prioritizing them, and using that as a basis while you get the demonstrations of the digital careers services will hopefully save you time in the future by making sure that you can get the right platform. Does anyone have any questions on that, or any other top tips and questions that they ask when engaging with different providers? It'd be great to hear. I think I know from running other webinars that people do love to hear what other schools and colleges and everyone's doing. So please, if you have any other great questions that you always ask, please share them in the chat, because I do know that everybody loves to hear everybody else's opinions. So that's the starting point, is understanding, right, well, what system are we going to get? Now, once you've found the system that you'd like to work with, the next challenge, which we spoke about at the beginning, is how do I effectively embed this digital careers platform across the school? So this is often one of the biggest challenges, because it's a bit of a change management, isn't it? Bringing in a new system and something that everyone at the school or college isn't used to. So you've got your teachers, you have tutors, your SLT, your students, your parents, quite a few different stakeholders to kind of get on board. What we've learned from our schools is that if you, the careers leader, is the only one using the platform, then you're often not getting the most value for money out of it. So we've got some top tips about effectively embedding the careers platform into the school. And again, please use the chat if you have any comments on this or other things you'd like to share as we go through this section. So, the first top tip I have is about building the strategy, your career strategy around the platform. So what we've found is from the schools and colleges that use GrowFar the best, they're able to really put GrowFar at the center of their digital career strategy, and everything feeds into that. When you engage students with a new platform, you've got to ensure that it's part of the broader careers provision. We find that the schools that encourage the students to use the platform as part of the full careers service, they get the best engagement from the students. So the platform's not just used for one thing, like booking one-to-one meetings, but the students book one-to-one meetings, they log activities on the platform, they create action plans, they set goals, they have this central point to access careers resources, central point to access external resources. It's all important to make sure that there's this one familiar point of access for students, so they're not trying to access multiple different systems. Now, that's not saying you can't link to external systems and external ideas, but having the central careers resource being one careers platform. And then that can link out to everything else. It makes sure that students always know where they're going, and of course, hopefully less usernames and passwords to remember, because everything's in one place. And while, as part of this building the strategy, it's always helpful to have some really interactive activities ready to go for the students and guides in one place to help them know how to use the system and help onboard them. And we'll talk about this in a little more detail shortly. But if you're increasing engagement, again, ask the provider of your platforms. They often have this to hand. You don't need to make it from scratch, but for some interactive resources that will engage the students with the platform. So do you have a lesson plan or a resource on student goal setting? What about doing careers research through the LMI tool? Is there a lesson plan or activities that will help the students build their CV? Giving students interactive activities that are prescribed and easy for them to follow will really help kind of get them engaged with the platform, and it's part of you building that strategy, your career strategy around the platform. So that's my first top tip of embedding a digital career service for your school. The second tip I would mention is about marketing the platform within your school. So I've touched on this already, that it's not ideally just you using the platform, but everybody at the school is aware of it. And if the platform is indeed the central part of your career service, then everyone should be aware of it, because the two things should go hand in hand. When you say careers, the platform will hopefully be kind of in the next sentence. It's important to make sure that everyone's aware of the platform, students, SLT, teachers, parents. So there's whole school approach to careers. We've learned this is really the best way to make sure that the digital career service is embedded into the school and isn't just kind of off to the side that only you use it. To support you embedding it, like anything, it's a bit of change management. So I'm going to share what we've learned in terms of communicating with each of these stakeholders to best get them engaged with a platform. So for example, with tutors, we've found that we have a tutor dashboard on the platform, and that links to the student passport. And so what our schools tend to do is they introduce the tutors only to that part of the platform. They keep it really simple, and they show the tutor that, say, if they're sitting down at a parent-teacher meeting, a parent-tutor meeting, that by using the tutor dashboard, the tutor can really quickly see, one, which students have or haven't had the careers provision they need, but then two, go into these student passports and see information outside of just grades of what the student is doing. They can see the student's goals, what career industries they're interested in, how they're doing on their CV, what recent events they've attended. There's kind of a picture of their career aspirations, which can make parent tutor meetings much more in depth. So for tutors, it's finding that way that's going to save them time and make their lives easier. For teachers, we've found from our schools that the best way to save them time is to show them how quick and easy it is to run a careers in the curriculum lesson. And that's twofold. That's one, you could provide careers and curriculum lessons to your teachers through the platform, but two, having them quickly log that that's happened. In fact, some of our schools have competitions between the careers and the curriculum teachers about which subject area is having the most number of careers and the curriculum lessons over the academic year. So engaging them and how it's going to, again, make their lives easier, helping them run these careers in the curriculum lessons. And instead of them having to run them and then send a big email to you about everything that happened, it's as simple as clicking a button to say, yep, that happened, log, done. So again, saving them time. For your SLT team, it's probably focusing, and what we've learned from our schools is focusing on the reports, which I mentioned before. Instead of them having to decipher lots of spreadsheets, if you can give them one place just to click and see a dashboard report of the information they're looking for, they're probably going to find the system saving them a lot of time. So by showing them that side of things, how much it's going to save them time by having all this information in one place, it's going to help make their lives easier. And then finally, for parents, getting parents on board is equally as important as students, because if the parents see the platform as being able to help them understand the opportunities that are available to their students and actually follow their students through the careers journey, then the parents can help make sure the students are continuing to use that platform. So marketing is a really important part to embedding the new digital careers platform within your school. And the third thing is milestones. So as you can see, these all kind of go hand in hand. Now, this milestone spreadsheet is what we've learned is the best path for success when embedding a new careers platform. And it's what we share with our customers to support them when launching. And I'm happy, again, as I said, I can share this whole presentation and notes, but I'm also happy to share this milestones tracking spreadsheet with you so that you can tailor it to your own school and the platform you're using to implement it successfully. But what you'll be able to see, hopefully on the screen, if it's not too small, is that there's kind of 4 main stages to launching and embedding the platform when you're setting these milestones. Oh, excuse me there. And that is the setup stage. So making sure all that data is there. That will include the MIS sync, making sure that the subjects in the platform are right, making sure that you've put in your careers program, if you can, into the platform, that you can familiarize yourself with the student portal. Hopefully there's a demo student you can use so you can see what it's like from the student perspective. Customizing everything about the platform so that when your students get on and the other teachers and staff, it's all ready to go. So kind of the setup stage. Once you've done the setup stage, it goes into introduction. And that is very much the marketing of the platform within the school. And there's a few key milestones there about sharing the benefits of the platform, inviting the students to the platform, making sure that you can link from your school website into the platform. Because again, as we said, if you make sure that the whole strategy is feeding into the platform, then it's going to help you a lot, especially that introduction phase. And the next stage, launching to students. So what we've learned best is that our schools tend to launch to 1 year group at a time, and that launch is supported by the careers leader. So there's a few key steps in there about making sure that obviously the access to technology is there, that you're there to support that initial launch, and that it's easy for students to kind of get on and do that activity, which I spoke about before, having that interactive activity right away. And then the fourth of the milestones, the embedding stage. So launching to further year groups, making sure that all the features within the platform are being used. So are students booking one-to-one meetings through the platform? Can you collect your destination data through the platform? Making the date, I'm going to collect destination data in May. I'm going to review event activity in June. I'm going to evaluate the Gatsby benchmarks on a rolling basis every month and share that with SLT. Having these key milestones to make sure that on an ongoing basis, the platform is being embedded and continuously embedded and in your careers service, and therefore the careers service gets that continual feedback loop as well. So those are the kind of top milestones for success that we pulled together. As I said, I'm happy to share that spreadsheet with you after today. Now, the final thing that I recommend, and it should be no surprise, is investing time. A platform will save you time and effort. It'll allow you to build scope within your careers progress strategy. It'll allow you to support more students. It will allow you to track activity. It will provide students with access to great resources and engage them. But the platform won't do the whole job for you. It is going to require you to invest time and effort to make sure it's a success. And this goes with everything I've just spoken about. It's good to take time to first build a plan, understand what you need to do, when you need to do it, how you need to action it. Then you want to understand what you want to achieve. Choose the platform that's going to support you to achieve this. And then finally, support your students, your staff, and your SLT with the knowledge that they need to get the most from this platform. I'm sure most platforms like ours will have a knowledge base that can be accessed. Hopefully you can have links to that as well. We've also learned from our schools that having little ambassadors across the different year groups, across the different subject areas for the platform is really handy. Some people are much more tech savvy than others. Some people love new platforms. If they can become ambassadors for the platform and invest a bit of their time into it as well, then it's going to benefit the whole school. So investing time is a really important part of this stage in terms of launching. So just to give you a quick summary, so what we're looking at not just now was the 4 tips for embedding a digital careers service at your school successfully. Talking about build the strategy around the platform, market the platform within the school, make sure everybody's on board, everyone sees the benefits of the platform, set milestones for success so that as you go through, you can check off these milestones, you can have the key KPIs, report back, show how the platform is benefiting you and the school, and then of course invest time. Because while the platform will save you time in many respects, it does need time invested to make sure that you can have a successful time embedding it. Are there any questions on successfully embedding it? I know a few people had responded to my poll saying they have successfully embedded a platform within their school. Does anybody want to have a comment on any other top tips they've had with embedding a platform? It's always hard when I'm the only one with a microphone on. But as I said, please use the chat to share your own tips. Send me a direct message or an email if you'd like any of the resources from today, including the milestones, this presentation I've just taken you through, and the notes. But in summary, so we've just looked at the top 5 things when you're purchasing a platform, what to look at, which is being clear about your objectives, thinking about your students' digital literacy, what device is the platform going to work on, if the platform syncs with your MIS provider, and what do the reports look like. And then we looked at those top tips for successfully embedding a digital careers service in your school. So building the strategy around it, marketing the platform, setting milestones for success, and investing time. We have over 6 years experience working with careers leaders across the country, supporting them to meet their careers service objectives and roll out and embed a digital careers service in their school. So really hope that you found this information helpful for anyone who is interested in the example implementation plan we use within a school. We think this might be really helpful to you. Please get in touch with me. You can see our email address up here as hello@growfar.com, or give us a ring. And I'm always happy to have a chat. If you just want to have a further chat about what I've talked about, please give me a ring today. I'm available all afternoon or tomorrow or after the conference. We do love to hear from you. And as I said, yeah, use the chat for the last few minutes to share any other interesting top tips you have for everybody in the room. And as Matthew, our CDI coordinator, said, the final poll is available. So if you could leave your feedback there, that would be brilliant as well. I hope everyone has a good day. I'll hang on here, just chatting to anybody for the next 10 minutes. If you have any extra questions, I'll be here. And as I mentioned, yeah, also drop us an email if you want to jump on to another session at the moment, or use the time to go into the networking room. It's quite cool where you can just meet a random person within that room. So. If you're looking for the poll, it's if you scroll down to the bottom of the poll section, it's the third poll, because there's two that we've just answered previously in the webinar and seminar, sorry, and then the very last poll on the poll list there, you'll see.